What up, people? First, I wanted to talk about how weed and marijuana ruined my life. But first, I just want to add that, I love smoking weed. And the effect that weed have on me may not be the same effect as how it had on other people out there. So this is just my personal experience with weed. So don't come talking and say it's nonsense. We don't do that. But just know this is my personal experience when it comes to smoking weed. So I've been smoking weed since I was like 9 years old. When I grew up in Jamaica, my dad was a Rasta man. Yeah, a dreadlocks they call them. So they smoke out the chalice. So I've been doing that since I was around like 9 years old, before I even touched high school, and in Jamaica. And from there and I just never stopped. It just got more and more and more and more and more. And it got worse when I came to America. You know, I was by myself. I didn't really have any family down here, and I usually smoke weed to kind of suppress any anxiety feeling that I might have, which I thought was a good thing, but it ended up being something that, like, it messed me over for all my years here in America. Because what I noticed is that when I came here with nothing, I am the same way now with nothing over the past couple of years. And I know the reason behind that is because I spend too much time getting high and not focusing on the right things. So I make a little list of stuff in ways how weed actually ruined my life. First, I want to say, like I just told you, weed made me lazy. It didn't really make me get involved into anything productive, because all I ended up doing was probably just had a little part-time job or work and then come home, smoke all day or all evening, and then went to sleep ready for the next day to go to work. So all those hours I spent chilling and smoking with my smoking friends or whoever is, it turned into time wasted when I could have been doing something more productive at first. So yeah, weed made me lazy. I never really care about doing anything more productive with my life, and that is a negative for me. That's not, that's a negative effect it had on me. Also, I tried going to school, and I've been going to colleges. I've been trying to do college courses, but then again, I started slacking because because I smoked weed before I go to school and stuff like that. So it never really made me fully conscious in class. I never really took the schooling seriously as much as I should. My grades wasn't really good or anything like that. So it messes up my, it mess up my messed me up by being lazy, and it also messed me up by like slacking in school and not taking I probably could have graduated long time, but here I am still not graduated school, messed up just because of that. And the whole thing behind it is, I believe, is just because I smoke too much weed. Another thing where weed affected me is I couldn't keep a job for too long because I normally get fired. I don't know. I just had this don't care attitude when it comes to work. I used to always smoke before I go to work, smoke on my lunch break, and sometimes that affected me by reaching work late because I used to be like, oh man, I have to smoke this weed before I clock in, and before you know it, I get to work late trying to just because I had to smoke two spliff or a spliff. And if I had just took myself to work, I would have been to work on time. But then again, this night might happen to you, but it happened to me. And I remember when I was working at Crate and Barrel, I used to get accused by the managers every day for smoking weed because I came in looking like weed, smelling like weed, until eventually they couldn't keep me, and they didn't want to keep me anymore. And I got fired because of that. And I'm pretty sure if I wasn't smoking weed and I was more, on top of my game, I would have been probably still working there, or I probably could have been a supervisor. But like I said, we could we did that to me, and now I'm here trying to get my life together. But it took so much years out of my life, which really messed me up. And another thing is I got arrested because of this. So not only made me lazy, slack off at work, but also made me get a criminal record. Because I could tell you the story of how this happened. It was I was in Florida at a particular time in my life, and I got pulled over. It was my 21st birthday. I was coming home from work. I was working at UPS at the time, and I'm coming home from work, and I stopped at the gas station. And then once I was leaving the gas station, the police was coming to pull me over for, I guess, a traffic infraction. I guess I ran a stop sign or something like that. But anyways, when he approached the car, he says the car smelled like weed, and then I had to come out the car and all of this stuff, which I did. And I had a nickel bag, that's like a $5 bag of weed on me at the time, just a little bit. And I ate it, which was a wrong mistake for me. So I ended up going to jail for tampering with evidence that night, and I ended up spending 1 month in jail. I lost my job, and also uh, went on probation for 3 years, and that was a felony. So it's like that small little thing made me get a felony that had me in jail for a month, and it's just that was crazy, on probation for 3 whole years, and it's just like, oh my god, I can't believe this happening, because this all of this is just because of weed. Weed controlled my life so much. It's just it really messed me up. So I got through my 3 years of probation now. I'm done. Even with my probation, I wasn't able to no, I was able to smoke. I found a way to smoke and stuff like that, and detox every time when it was time for to do the drug test for my probation. I thought I was getting over, but obviously I wasn't, because my life is was still being changed just because of the weed. I wasn't doing the right things, because if I wasn't smoking weed like that, I probably wouldn't even get pulled over. I probably wouldn't even had the felony charge or anything like that, and I probably would have still been working, you know. But other than that, another thing is I could say about weed is costly. It make you waste a lot of money. And the people who smoke weed a lot probably don't even have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money to spend on weed, but I was spending up to I say at least $250 a month on weed. And if you calculate that, that's a lot of money if you don't have. I could have paid a car note or anything like that. I was driving an old Oldsmobile, paying $250 for weed every month, when I could have probably been driving a new car and paying that 250 as a car note. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm just sharing my experience with weed and how it does ruin my whole life, I believe. Also, I could say weed with I think I lost relationships because of weed. I lost one because I couldn't stop smoking weed, and I used to indulge in weed so much. People, like this girl, she got annoyed with me for that, and ended up leaving me for some other guy who I believe don't smoke weed that much, and also had more money in his pocket, because I was wasting my money on weed, instead of taking her out and showing her a nice time. I ended up smoking my money, and being selfish to her, and she didn't even smoke weed like that. Also, I could tell you it ruined my sex life. I think it's not good for my sex life because I used to smoke weed before sex and all of that stuff, and just because it gave me a better, I guess I get a better vibe when I'm high and having sex. It caused me to depend on that. And every time I'm having sex, I feel the need to smoke. So it's just like when a random situation might come up and I don't have weed, I don't feel as confident in myself enough to have sex with that person. And it does messed up my mental in some sense. So yeah, I could say if you're going to think about smoking weed for the first time, you should think about the effects that it might have on you, and it could save other people too. Like a lot of people who smoke weed, you should still look at their position and see where they're at in life, and how much. If you really look at it, the amount of people that excel with weed is smaller than the amount that don't excel and still smoke weed. So you might end up in that category that don't excel in life just because of weed. I'm not saying it's going to happen to you, but the possibility is there. So my what I could say is not to smoke weed. You don't have to like just completely stop, but you should set goals for yourself first and try to fulfill those goals before you indulge in marijuana smoking and or any type of drug at all, because you might be stuck for the rest of your life procrastinating, being lazy, wasting money, and not being the confident person that you could be if you wasn't wasting so much time with marijuana smoke. People say marijuana have its benefits. It might help you with disease and sickness and all sort of stuff, but in the long run, some, even though it have good effects, it have bad effects too. You just need to figure out if it's good for you. Yeah, and basically this is how weed has ruined my life, and I just hope that you don't fall into this category, and make sure that you're on top of yourself and set goals for yourself so you don't fall victim like me. Peace.